You ever feel like you're doing everything right? You're consistent, present, loyal, you show up, you listen, you give, but somehow it's never enough. Her energy is off. Her words are flat, her actions cold and distant. She used to light up when you walked into the room. Now, it's like you're invisible, and deep down you start to question your worth. You ask yourself, am I asking for too much? Maybe I just need to try harder? But that's where the trap begins. You think more effort will fix the disconnection, but effort without reciprocity is how strong men lose themselves. Let me stop you right there. It's not that you're not enough, it's that she doesn't value you. And the moment you recognize that truth, not just mentally but emotionally, you reclaim your power. Because a Stoic man doesn't beg for attention, he doesn't chase confusion, he doesn't explain himself to someone who isn't even listening. He observes, he reflects, and then he makes a decision. So today, we're breaking down 5 clear behaviors of a woman who doesn't truly value you. These signs might seem small at first, but they speak volumes. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. If even 2 of these sound familiar, it's time to wake up, brother. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Let's dive in. 1. She never makes time for you. Time is life. It's the one resource we all run out of, and the one thing we always make room for when it matters. So when she says, I've just been busy, don't be so quick to accept it. Everyone is busy. You're busy. Marcus Aurelius ruled over an empire, commanded armies, and wrote one of the greatest works of philosophy in history, and still carved out time for what he valued. Why? Because where we spend our time is where we reveal our heart. If she's always finding time for her phone, her friends, her shows, but somehow never for you, it's not a scheduling issue, it's a value issue. People prioritize what they fear losing, what they love, what they respect. So when she repeatedly delays your plans, cancels last minute, or avoids committing to seeing you, she's telling you, without words, that you are optional. And here's the harsh truth. You're not here to chase someone into valuing you. You're supposed to observe where you stand and act accordingly. Don't be the man stuck in her maybe. Don't fall for the excuse that one day when life slows down, she'll suddenly make time. She won't. If you aren't a priority now, you won't magically become one later. A woman who truly values you will find a way to fit you into her life, even when she's busy, even if it's just a short check-in or a moment of shared presence. Because it's not about duration, it's about intention. But if you're always the one initiating, always the one waiting, always the one hoping she'll carve out time, you're not in a relationship. You're on standby. And a Stoic man never stays where he's not valued. Think about this. You text her on Tuesday to see if she wants to grab dinner Friday. She leaves you on read. Then Thursday night, she replies, "Sorry, I've just been slammed. Maybe next week?" But the next day, you see her post a selfie at a bar with her girlfriends, smiling, laughing, fully present. That's not busyness. That's selective availability. The truth is, people will always show you where they want to be. And if she's always too busy for you, but never too busy for anyone else, you're not the priority. You're the placeholder. 2. Your efforts go unnoticed, or worse, unappreciated. Effort is a love language. The small things you do, the check-in messages, the thoughtfulness, the consistency, those are the invisible threads that build connection. So when she doesn't even flinch to notice them, doesn't acknowledge them, or worse, treats them like obligations, you need to pay attention, because what she ignores reveals what she values. When a woman truly appreciates you, she'll see your effort. She'll feel it. And even if she's not expressive, she'll reflect it back in ways that are unmistakable, through her tone, her energy, her attention. But if you keep giving, and the response is silence, indifference, or sarcastic dismissal, you're not building intimacy. You're bleeding energy into a void. And here's the trap most good men fall into. They think if they just try harder, she'll come around. If I'm more thoughtful, more generous, more available, she'll finally realize I'm worth it. But that's not how respect works. Respect isn't earned by increasing effort. It's earned by withholding it when it's not reciprocated. Cicero once said, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others." A woman who lacks gratitude is not only lacking manners, she's lacking the emotional maturity to be in a real relationship. You shouldn't have to convince someone to value what's already rare. If she doesn't recognize your consistency, your loyalty, your intention, then she's not ready for the kind of man you are. And remember this, warrior. Effort is sacred. It comes from your strength, your discipline, your character. Don't keep giving it to someone who treats it like background noise. You're not her fan. You're not her emotional support system. You're a man. A grounded, powerful, sovereign man. And if she can't see that, it's time to redirect your energy towards someone who will. Let's go deeper. Real appreciation doesn't require grand reactions. It requires presence. Sometimes it's a genuine smile. Sometimes it's a soft thank you and eye contact that says, "I saw what you did and it mattered." Now contrast that with her reaction. She barely glances at the coffee you brought her, tosses aside the compliment you gave, or forgets the thing you told her mattered to you. Over time, that emotional starvation piles up. It's like your heart's been put on a shelf and forgotten. And here's the hardest part. You begin to resent your own kindness. That's when you know it's no longer love, it's sacrifice without meaning. And that's not stoic. That's self-abandonment. 3. She avoids emotional intimacy. Surface-level connection is easy. Small talk, jokes, sharing playlists, that's the entry point. But if it never goes deeper, you're not in a relationship, you're in a performance. You try to connect. You ask about her dreams, her pain, her past. You share something vulnerable and she shuts down. Changes the subject, laughs it off, maybe even mocks it. That's not confidence, that's deflection. She might say things like, "I don't really talk about my feelings," or "You're too intense." But what she really means is, "I'm not emotionally invested enough to care." Let's be clear. Emotional intimacy isn't about being dramatic or overly sensitive. It's about truth. It's about two people seeing each other below the surface. And if she won't meet you there, if she keeps the walls up, she's either not ready or not interested in building anything real with you. Epictetus said that relationships are based on shared values and shared understanding. Without that, there's no depth, only transaction. A woman who values you will want to know the layers beneath the surface. She'll ask how you're really doing. She'll notice when something's off. She'll lean in when things get real. Not because she has to, but because she genuinely cares about you, the man, not the mask. So if every deep conversation gets shut down, if your inner world feels like it has no space to exist in the relationship, that's not emotional safety. That's emotional starvation. You don't need someone who tolerates your truth. You need someone who honors it. In a healthy dynamic, vulnerability doesn't scare a woman away. It draws her closer. You say something like, "I've been feeling disconnected lately." Not just from you, but from life in general. A woman who values you leans in and says, "Talk to me about it. I'm here." But if she brushes it off with, "Well, we've all got stuff," or "You think too much," she's not just avoiding emotional depth, she's rejecting your humanity. And here's the truth. You don't need to be deep with everyone. But in a relationship, if you can't be seen, you can't be loved. 4. Subtle or not so subtle disrespect. Disrespect doesn't always come with yelling. Sometimes it arrives quietly. In a joke that stings, a smirk when you share something meaningful, an eye roll when you talk about your goals. She interrupts, she dismisses, she makes you feel small in front of others, and you tell yourself she didn't mean it like that. But let me tell you, warrior, intent doesn't erase impact. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, led with humility. He treated even slaves with dignity. Why? Because true strength respects. It doesn't belittle. It doesn't compete. It doesn't mock. If she constantly questions your intelligence, minimizes your accomplishments, or talks down to you, it's not love. It's power play. It's control masked as playful teasing. And here's the problem. The longer you stay, the more you shrink. You start second-guessing yourself. You water down your voice. You filter your dreams just to keep the peace. And that's how self-respect dies slowly. A woman who values you will challenge you, yes, but with respect. She'll disagree, but she won't degrade. She'll speak truth, but she won't humiliate. So if you feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly defending your worth, constantly explaining your choices, that's not a partner. That's a critic. And you don't build a legacy with someone who chips away at your foundation. Picture this. You mention your new business idea. You're excited, inspired, but instead of support, she smirks and says, "You sure that's realistic?" Or worse, she laughs right in front of her friends. That moment sticks, not because it was brutal, but because it was subtle and it came from someone you trusted. Disrespect isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the silence after something important. Sometimes it's sarcasm wrapped in a smile. But no matter how it's dressed up, it chips away at your sense of self. And the longer you tolerate it, the more you lose the man you were meant to be. 5. You feel alone even when you're together. This is the hardest one. The one that creeps in like fog. You're sitting next to her, eating dinner, watching a movie, but you feel it's invisible. She's there but nully. She's scrolling, distracted, mentally somewhere else. You speak and her eyes glaze over. She nods without hearing. You laugh and she doesn't even look up. And the worst part, you start blaming yourself. Maybe I'm boring. Maybe I talk too much. Maybe I'm the problem. But you're not. What you're asking for isn't too much. It's the bare minimum: presence, attention, connection. When someone values you, you feel it in the room. They lean in, they engage, they care. And when they don't, the silence is deafening. Being alone is one thing, but being with someone and still feeling unseen? That's soul-crushing. That erodes your confidence. That's the kind of loneliness that no amount of physical closeness can fix. Here's what you need to remember. Love isn't about proximity. It's about presence. If she's physically there but emotionally gone, you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-man show. And a Stoic man doesn't stay in rooms where he has to beg to be noticed. You deserve more than a warm body beside you. You deserve a soul that sees you. A partner who chooses to be present, not out of obligation, but out of devotion. If you feel more alone with her than you do when you're actually alone, maybe it's time to be truly alone. And let that solitude rebuild your worth. I had a friend who said something once that stuck with me. I knew it was over when I got into a car accident, and she didn't even ask if I was okay. She just said, "That's crazy," and kept scrolling. That wasn't just emotional distance. That wasn't distance. That was emotional absence. And the truth is, loneliness in a relationship is one of the deepest betrayals a man can feel. Because you're giving your loyalty, your consistency, your soul, and getting silence in return. Don't stay where your spirit is ignored. A Stoic doesn't cling to dead energy. He honors his own light. Stop explaining. Start observing. Here's the deal. You don't need to convince her of your value. You don't need to write longer texts, wait patiently, or show her how much you care. Because your worth was never supposed to be proven, it was supposed to be seen. And if she can't see it, that's not your failure. It's her limitation. As a Stoic man, you don't chase what resists. You don't beg for energy that's not willingly given. You don't try to fix what doesn't want to be repaired. You observe, you decide, you walk, calmly, decisively, without drama. The truth is brutal, but it's also liberating. You cannot force someone to value what they are not capable of recognizing. And the more you try, the more you lose pieces of yourself in the process. So stop trying to change her. Stop overthinking the silence. Stop explaining your intentions. Because the right woman won't need to be convinced. She'll already feel it. And if you see these signs, if you've been living in this quiet frustration, don't lower yourself to keep her. Stand tall, reclaim your ground, and choose yourself. Not with anger, but with clarity. Not to hurt her, but to protect your peace. Your time, your energy, your love, they're sacred. Treat them like the treasures they are. Let this be the day you stop tolerating the bare minimum. Let this be the day you choose self-respect over silent suffering. You are not invisible. You are not weak. You are a man of purpose, of presence, of value. And it's time the world and the women around you start reflecting that. Ready to stop settling and reclaim your worth? Type enough in the comments if you're done explaining yourself to those who don't deserve access to your soul. And if this message hit home, like, subscribe, and share it with another warrior who needs this truth. We don't chase approval. We rise together.